Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, they're big mad, folks. They're big mad. The vice presidential debate happened, and what Democrats needed was a big moment. They needed a big night from Tim Walz. They needed to go in there and totally dominate the show, but most importantly, they had to uphold the narrative. That was essentially the mission going in. I mean, just think about it. Over the last couple of months, it's been J.D. Vance is a literal demon. He's basically Hitler when it comes to women. A horrible, evil misogynist who's coming for women's rights. I mean, that's basically how they've painted him. He's the worst thing ever, a literal evil demon. And so essentially they had to uphold that J.D. Vance image that they had portrayed. But instead, what happened? Well, I'd say quite the exact opposite. The debate was pretty cordial, quite respectful, and Tim Walz essentially walked in agreeing with most of the stuff that J.D. Vance was saying. Oh, well, J.D. Vance, well, what can I say? You're right. Oh, you're right. Oh, I agree with you, actually. J.D. Vance was like 50% of the debate. And so essentially you get where I'm going with this. Leftist narrative implosion happened on the debate night, and let's just say the left's not too happy about it. Let's have a conversation about that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's first start off with the context. Here's a couple of those moments that I was describing in the intro.
I agree with a lot of what Senator Vance said. I agree with that. I agree. Much of what the senator said right there, I'm in agreement with him on this. Putting money into companies that were overseas. We're in agreement that we bring those home.
Quite amicable, lacking the serious disagreement or rancor that you might expect. You know, considering the current divisive dynamic between political sides in the current day. I mean, J.D. Vance is supposedly a demon, but I'm not so sure that narrative sticks up when you got the side making those wild accusations essentially agreeing with most of what you say. Is he a horrible misogynistic demon or just a regular American patriot with slightly different viewpoints? The narrative is officially bust, and leftoids know it. I mean, just take a look at the meltdown.
It's the audacity. I agree with you that we're in year 9 and no one knows how to cover the audacity. The audacity is that someone should have said, stop it, stop. Are you effing kidding me? And they should have dropped that F-bomb, right? I mean, they should have just, this is the debate. This may be the only chance people have to see the difference.
And so I think that the people who want the fist fight are the base of the Democratic Party. Democrats want to see someone get up there and give a knuckle sandwich to Donald Trump. That's what they want. But that is not.
There were so many niceties on that debate stage tonight. I am just kind of like, well, if you agree so much with J.D. Vance, why should they vote for you? I fully believe that Governor Walz went out there tonight and did what was practiced in debate prep. Did what the strategy was that the team put together. That was not the Governor Walz that I had seen out on the campaign trail. That's not the Governor Walz that I had seen during the Veep stakes, right? That was not the J.D. Vance that I know to be true. I mean, goodness, J.D. Vance was on that stage. He was sorry about Amber Thurman. He was sorry about abortion. He was sorry about a lot of stuff. We get things wrong, but do you agree with the policy? And then I just, that's not the Margaret and Nora that I know. Margaret don't do that on Sunday morning. So I just think that I know that there's so many people out there that want normal. They want normalcy. They just want, just be able to just disagree with, you said a lot of things I agree with. This is not a normal election. J.D. Vance is actually not Paul Ryan. And Donald Trump sure as heck is not Mitt Romney. Okay? And what happened on that debate stage tonight was not enough contrast, was not clear enough for people sitting at home or frankly who will probably consume this through the clips in their local news or here on MSNBC or on social media to distinguish and make a difference.
They wanted Tim Walz to go in there and be the regular Tim Walz. I mean, a lot of the reporting ahead of the debate was that Tim Walz was essentially going to be a bulldog. He's got a real temper. And I have to admit that's exactly what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Tim Walz to be nice at all. I mean, I've been watching this guy on MSNBC for a while. Tim Walz is a media regular, especially ahead of Kamala Harris picking him when he was interviewing for the job, and his whole shtick was going on left-wing partisan networks and just hitting the other side with the most partisan attacks. That's exactly who Tim Walz has been. He's essentially a Democrat bulldog. They send him out there to bark. But Tim Walz on the day was a little chihuahua, just a little cute guy, just harmless. Not exactly sure what happened, but I think it was a tactical error. I think the debate prep team maybe thought it would be a bad look. They probably told him, Tim, try not to come off too harsh or too intense. Keep it relatively light, and then this is what you get. I mean, an utter miscalculation, I'd say. A total tactical misstep to the extent where this might have actually sealed the deal. It's crazy to think of. You don't usually think of vice presidential debates within that context. I mean, a lot of the times people don't even freaking watch them, and they especially don't really care. But in this instance, it might have actually moved the needle at least a little bit, even by not moving the needle. By showing up and acting cordial, the Democrats lose. In my view, it's basically that simple. And really, this is an issue that I think Democrats are going to be dealing with for a while. You know, they don't run on issues that are important to Americans anymore. Their tactic for getting elected is fear-monger, fear-monger, fear-monger. Stoke fear and stoke division. And you know what? For a while it worked. It worked because they had Donald Trump as this bombastic character that they could paint so negatively. But I think it's really been a short-sighted strategy because it's obvious that this tactic will not work with anybody else. I mean, it barely works with Donald Trump, considering everything they've attacked him with, considering all the narratives, all the fake news stories, all the misrepresentations and quoting out of context, or literally editing clips of Donald Trump lying by omission. After all of it, it barely frickin' works. The only reason it works a little bit is because Trump's a little bombastic and offensive in some cases. But this has become the default Democrat strategy. My opponent is Satan. You know, it's insane, and it's even more insane when you're talking about someone like J.D. Vance or Ron DeSantis. You know, that's another great example. They tried the same tactics against Ron DeSantis, and what ended up happening in 2022, he won by 20 points, even going as far as flipping Miami-Dade County red. This tactic simply won't work against anybody who doesn't fit the sort of character disposition of Donald Trump. You know, Ron DeSantis is just a regular dad jeans wearing dude, a little bit of a dork, just your regular run-of-the-mill Republican, but they tried painting him as a fascist. It backfired spectacularly, and now they're doing the same thing with J.D. Vance, or at least they tried to, and it's now backfiring spectacularly as people are realizing that J.D. Vance really isn't that extreme, and his views relating to women aren't as the left describe it. In fact, I think he did a pretty good job articulating his views. I think the way he framed the abortion issue was fantastic, talking about incentivizing building families and motherhood. He also tied it to economics. He described how it saddens him that unplanned pregnancies are viewed as devastating or life-destroying. That's an economic issue. The left has gone on and on about this. Oh, he hates women. He just thinks you're a bunch of crazy cat ladies. And he wants to strip you of your rights. Yeah, again, that narrative didn't hold up. And maybe the Democrats knew this going in. Maybe the Democrats knew that their fear-mongering strategy isn't going to work forever. It's the law of diminishing returns. Eventually, when you do the same thing over and over again, it's going to become less and less effective, like crying wolf. And maybe they realized that, and they thought going in, you know, we can't default to the same thing. Let's try to make Tim Walz as likable as possible. He'll win the debate through feels and likability. But again, what a total miscalculation. Tim Walz being painted as likable. Frankly, for the majority of the night, the guy looked like he was on meth. I mean, the facial expressions, the eyeballs. Yeah, I don't think Tim Walz is as likable or palatable as Democrats think he is. This whole nice guy Tim Walz act was a complete joke. And of course, most importantly, it simply highlighted the lies. The obvious misrepresentations in the media that we've been subject to over the last 2.5 months. J.D. Vance is this, J.D. Vance is that. Nope, J.D. Vance is just a regular American, a regular dude with some pretty common sense ideas that even Tim Walz agrees with, who happens to be running for vice president alongside Donald Trump, the greatest president of my lifetime. What an absolute clown show, what a disaster. Let the left-wing copium begin. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.